Okay, so we're going to do another audio recording. So I'm shuffling whilst talking in real time, and I may put some images up there so you can see the cards. As I started to shuffle before hitting record, I was feeling this lovely divine, sacred, feminine energy again. Lovely Empress energy. So in that energy, we're going to dip and dive in this energy for a while, and let's see what comes up. To honour the sacred feminine, we're going to keep this open and let it be directed by the flow. Okay, you can probably hear me shuffling. I feel this time of shuffling and talking is really an opportunity to take a minute within yourself, within ourselves, to remember to breathe, drop into the body, drop into the space. So wherever you've come from, wherever you've been, whatever you've been doing, you're here now for a reason. And if you so choose, you can stay around a while. Take this opportunity to just either sit back and relax or stand up and move around. Just bring yourself back into your body. Take it as an opportunity. Yeah, what came out was the Five of Wands. So someone may have just stepped out of a very stressy mindset or very hectic, or just general life stress. So if you're here now, perhaps take this as an opportunity and a sign that you can just rest and relax for a minute. You can work with this energy and this read as a form of meditation, or save it and listen to it at a later date if you feel you haven't got time now. Bottom of the deck was Emperor whilst shuffling. So these cards have been coming up in other readings recently. And it's funny, when I feel I'm dipping into divine feminine energy, masculine cards energies seem to pop up, and vice versa. It's quite interesting. It's just, I think, affirming the relationship between the two. It's not them and us, or you and me and them. It's we. And I feel a lot of attention and awareness now is on that relationship, which is the sovereign aspect between the two. Nothing to do with gender or sexual orientation. Tarot doesn't give a hoot, neither does the universe, how you identify. We're talking about the energies. So let that go. Let that shit go. Okay, I've been shuffling and the Emperor is still at the bottom of the deck. Isn't that funny? Okay, deep breath. I can feel we're moving into a more logical masculine energy, so maybe we are going to be looking at the divine masculine at this read. Let's see what comes up. I'm going to just keep breathing and bringing the energy back to that breath through this process, rather than the desire to control, which can come up sometimes with either masculine or feminine energies. Okay, so bringing it back to self, the space of meditation. Take a breath, take a moment, take a pause. Okay, tapping in to both the divine sacred feminine and the divine sacred masculine. Let's see if we can get some permission to work with these energies. Yes, this is for your highest good and greatest well-being, for my highest good and greatest well-being, and for the highest good and greatest well-being. As always, as ever, highest good and greatest well-being. I may have to put a timestamp as I realise I've been talking for a while and shuffling for a while. I feel that's okay. I feel this is purposefully slowing down the spinning wheels. So I feel this is good for someone, for whoever's listening. This is really just slowing that train of thought, that momentum, really just allowing that energy to wind down, slow down, regroup, resettle after a pot that's been stirred, just removing the spoon and allowing it to gently settle and come to that place of stillness. I'm seeing the stillness card in is it the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck, where someone's meditating. You see the silhouette, and it's like a masculine figure to me. It's very red energies. So bringing that place of stillness into our awareness and our intention now. Okay, I'm going to cut the deck 3 places and take the top. What do we have? King of Cups. Gosh, that's beautiful. Okay. It took a minute to get there, right? That's why we've been shuffling, breathing, allowing momentum to slow down. We're coming into this space, the King of Cups. So it's a sacred space of emotion, honouring emotion and valuing and respecting emotion and the movements of the oceans, the tides, the flows, the waters. The King of Cups has mastery over his emotions. Next, we have the 6 of Cups. We have this reminiscing of good times. Thinking of the people that you love in your life, that you have loved. Fondness for the people, places, situations, experiences in life that you love. And then the King of Pentacles. So we have 2 waters and 1 earth. King of Cups. 6 of Cups. So water and earth. Bottom of the deck, 7 of Pentacles. Sowing the seeds. Patience. Trusting the cycles of life. So it's trusting the cycles and the ebb and flow of the waters of life, and also trusting the cycles of nature, the harvest, the seasons. And interestingly, we have, the masculines, King of Cups and the King of Pentacles. So this is interesting. I was feeling very much the divine sacred feminine whilst shuffling to begin with. And what comes up is the divine sacred masculine. So this is very telling. This is very telling. It's as if to say, the moment you step into fully allowing one of these energies, the other appears. That's what's been happening in these readings. And you can hear that I'm slowing down further. That we are fully in this liminal space. This place of presence, of being, of receptivity. And being in this space welcomes the divine sacred masculine, the King of Cups with his emotions and mastery of his own emotions, and absolute respect and value and appreciation of the waters of emotion, and the King of Pentacles with his abundance his stability, his kingdom of wealth, of providing for all, of being a great sustainer. And in between we have the Six of Cups, which is focusing on those good feelings. And we can remove the sense of past, present, future, and just really think with the Six of Cups, it is focusing on those good feelings, those good times, whether or not you call them memories or hopes or ambitions or aims for the future. It's really about the love that we feel for one another. You know, and that can include our family, animals and nature and all of nature. It's the love, it's focusing on that feeling that we have, that love for another. So focusing on the feeling. It's being with that feeling of love for the other, family, friends, all these different sorts of connections and relationships. It's not focusing on them, but it's focusing on the good vibes. And that can be, a higher practice with Metta Bhavana, meditation practice, where there is this conscious effort to focus on essentially the love, the peace, the harmony, the forgiveness with other, with self and then with other, and that expands. Yes, this is very much like a Metta Bhavana practice. That might be good for someone to look into. There's 3 specific lines, I think. It's may you be well, may you be safe, may you be happy. There's variations. And that's that feeling of benevolence. It's not the toxic positivity, it's not the bypassing, it's not the denying. Look into the Metta Bhavana meditation. That is a beautiful practice to come back to at various points in our lives. And it can be very gentle and non-demanding. And it can be a lovely unfolding as a regular practice, as something to anchor into. Sometimes we have such an overabundance of choice and options available and so much information overload that we just, like a computer that's had water spilt on it, we just check out. So sometimes having traditional practices to fall upon can be the most grounding and beneficial. Even if they're new to you, there are hundreds of years of practice, so they carry a momentum, they carry a wave, because they've been practiced for generations. These sacred. This is a Buddhist practice, Metta Bhavana. Double T, I think, or 1 T, but just not that other kind of metta. Yeah, Metta Bhavana, that's what I'm getting. It's like benevolent. It's a benevolent practice of love, meditation practice, and it's perhaps slightly more of a blending of both the divine sacred in a feminine, divine sacred in a masculine, in the sense that it's not fully receptive, or it's not a guided meditation, or it's not just a going in meditation, but there's also the practice of a phrase that is held either within the heart space or in the mind, or perhaps even spoken out loud with that intention. So that feels to me like a very balanced masculine and feminine. It's both active as well as receptive. It feels both a yin and a yang practice. And there is a lot of that in Buddhism, or various parts of Buddhism. I'm thinking Tibetan Buddhism perhaps more so. What just fell? 9 of Swords, Sleepless Nights, and Page of Cups. So I feel that perhaps there's someone here that has had sleepless nights and is looking to connect with the heart space, Page of Cups, and is needing to. So for sure, the Metta Bhavana practice, of course there's many others, but this is just coming up through this reading as something that seems like a really good thing for someone to look into. I'll put it perhaps in the description box because, yeah, the spelling may not be obvious. Right, so we have the Six of Cups. No, we have the King of Cups, the Six of Cups, and the King of Pentacles. Can we get a clarifier for this little array of cards before us? I haven't labelled the past, present and future. I haven't given them a decreed positioning, but they've created their own structure. We've got Divine Masculine on the table surrounding the Six of Cups. So Divine Masculine are the pillars holding space for this place to focus on the feelings of love and connection and connectivity and how good that feels. And the two masculine that are doing that are the water and the earth. I'm seeing like the pillars of the sacred temples. So this masculine energy of the water and the earth are providing that structure, that framework. Earth being Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus, water being Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Okay, I'm going to ask for, okay, I'm going to take this. The Empress came up. I was going to ask for individual, and then I thought, no, for the whole 3 cards, just one card, and we have the Empress. So, yes, this is about the masculine energy holding space, being that sacred container for the feminine. So if the divine sacred feminine is the void, is the dark, is the womb of creation, is the yin, is the receptive energy, then it is also an expansive energy that has no boundaries or borders, a bit like the universe, right? We live in, you could say we live in a divine feminine universe, and all the stars and the planets and the matter are the sacred masculine that are actively incarnate in a material form, you could say, as one perception, lens perception. Right. And then you can view the masculine, looking at the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles, as the structure, the container for that sacred water, like a bowl that holds the sacred waters in a fountain. The bowl, the masculine, the water, contents of the bowl, the feminine. Oof, that seemed a very specific explanation. Okay. And then what's just flipped out? 10 of Cups, 4 of Cups, and Page of Wands. So water and a little bit of fire. I'm not keeping these, but that's quite nice energies. Yeah, I really feel, I'm going to stop shuffling a second. I really feel that this is about honouring, valuing, appreciating the beauty of the structure of the divine masculine that holds space for the divine feminine in terms of energy. This isn't about roles or obligations or duties in the human world. We're talking about the energies, and we all carry within us the positive and negative charge. We carry the hot, the cold, the light, the dark, the yin, the yang. And it's honouring that container. And a bit like the Bruce Lee quote, is it something about like water flows? Is it Bruce Lee? Something about that. No. And then there's another quote about how the shape of the container shapes the water. So being very cautious and aware of what our divine sacred masculine, our inner masculine, is shaping, what structure have we created, because that is the form that the divine sacred feminine can then take up space within So the structure is very foundational, key, and important. And we can see globally how much the divine sacred masculine is changing, and the various stages that it's been confronted with and going through, and how that's manifesting in the external world with the political, social, economic events that we see in our society and in our world that we are all part of creating. We have all created this together, so we are all responsible for the state of the world as it is today. Okay, do we have any advice and guidance? I think it is about honouring and respecting the divine sacred masculine, being aware of the structure that's created and being aware of the impact that has on the divine sacred feminine, and that they are in relationship to one another and therefore should be in dialogue with one another. Should is a very strong word. Although at the very beginning I did say this felt like a divine sacred feminine reading, so perhaps we've started with the divine masculine in order to create space to bring through the Empress, the divine feminine. Bottom of the deck, Knight of Pentacles, slow and steady. This may simply be, enough. Is there anything else that's needed in this time, space and place with these energies? Is there anything else that needs to be said, shared, seen? Any support, guidance, wisdom, insight? Okay, this flipped over and is upright. 6 of Wands. I'm going to read this from the book, which I love. This book, I've got the Affirmators Tarot deck, and it's such a fun, irreverent... Did I say 6 of Wands? Oh yeah, I did. I'm looking at the 7. This is, great sense of humour. I think I love this more than anything, what they've written in here, the authors. So 6 of Wands. You've just scored the coolest ever world's best mug, and it's here to honour you and your many splendid victories. Woohoo! Feel weird about it? Knock it off. You deserve to be proud of whatever it is that mug is applauding. So enjoy the recognition from yourself and others, and use it to keep on moonwalking like a champ to more triumph ahead. This slow clap is just getting started. These, of course, the 6 of Wands in the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the child, sun shining child riding on the back of the horse. Wait, hang on, no, that is the sun. Wait, I'm mixing them up. Okay, is a grown human, adult human riding on a horse with a wreath on there, a crown. And they're celebrating and being celebrated. Okay. And then the little mantra at the bottom is, I am openly, unabashedly shouting with the windows all the way down, proud of myself. I'm going to keep on being the fabulous me that got me here. Okay, so I don't know why I read that, because we know the 6 of Wands is about success and celebration, but this deck brings a different element. I'm kind of getting like the inner child, which is really what this deck also seems to carry a lot of energy. It really seems to be good for working with the inner child as an archetype. And of course the other archetypes are the inner parent, the inner mother, the inner father. So I'd say a celebration and a victory, and something about the inner child being celebrated. Perhaps someone's just reached a certain keystone or corner or development or relational development with their inner child archetype as such, and this is simply also acknowledging that and celebrating that and taking that victory and taking that win. You know, we are allowed to develop and evolve these relationships that we have within ourselves, within the various aspects of our psyches, and various aspects of it. They're allowed to grow and develop and evolve. You know, they don't have to be stuck. We get so fixated on saying, oh, this is the inner child and this is this, and we put things in boxes. The archetypes are there to be an assistance. But if we can grow and evolve our archetypes, which is really fantastic and a great part of the journey, then that needs to be celebrated. And I feel like someone's inner child has grown up, and there's the inner child psyche archetype can still be an inner child psyche archetype, but growing up in the sense of growing into a fresher, more vibrant, more healthy expression of that inner child. There we go. That's that. Okay. And should we get one more card? Kind of always just want to have one more card. I was going to wrap it up there. Oh, one more card to finish. I'm just going to pull one out right from the middle. The World, which actually came up earlier when I was having a little look. So this feels like a sense of completion. That's a nod to, yes, well done, well done. And that's coming also from the Divine Sacred Feminine and the Divine Sacred Masculine. It's a well done, job done. Relax and enjoy. You're doing good. Okay, bye.